Greetings everyone. Welcome to Proof Weight Loss Surgery Works. This is Aisha, your Tuesday vlogger. And we have a 5-layer question this week on portion control. And I will do my best to ask the question and answer it as I go. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. And the first question is, what does hunger feel like? I am post-op R&Y. And coming into this journey, I didn't know what to expect. I knew what it was like to have a normal stomach and be ravenous and all these kinds of things. And so, cut to surgery in November 2010. Coming home, my stomach was tender. I have very low tolerance for pain, and I don't think I really felt anything in those early days. And I ate quite often because when it was time to take vitamins after so many days and weeks and all of that, I always ate something with whatever I was taking. I was taking whatever medicine the surgeon had prescribed and whatever vitamins I needed to take back then. So I was always eating something because it was time to take something. And then as time went on, I think I began to get some kind of hunger, some notification of hunger, I should call it. And for me, what does hunger feel like now, 25 and a half months post-op? It is somewhat normal. I get hunger pangs if I go too long. I get a weakness, like a weak feeling, like lightheaded if I go too long. And I also get like a burning in my stomach if I go too long without eating. And that's the worst of it for me, when I start to burn in my stomach when I have gone too long without eating. But that is what hunger feels like to me now, 25 and a half months post-op. And then the next question is, when do you stop eating? That's $1 million question, because the rules of engagement says do not eat past the first feelings of fullness. And I brought along my old trusty, it got wet along the way, handout. Really, it was a PDF that I printed from my surgeon's office, and a reminder under the reminders column. It says, do not eat past the first feeling of fullness. Eat slowly, take small bites, and chew thoroughly. It should take you 30 to, I think it said 45 minutes to finish a meal. And I'm chuckling because in 25 and a half months, I don't know if it's ever taken me 30 minutes to finish a meal. Pre-op, I was former glutton, lack of a better term, and I ate fast. No waiting around. I wanted what I wanted and I ate it and I gobbled it down. And so that tendency is still very much alive, that I eat faster than I should. And so oftentimes I'm eating and I have to say to myself, chew, Aisha, chew, and slow down. And so when do I stop eating? I stop eating at the first sign of fullness. I do. I can almost really nowadays eyeball, especially if I'm out at a restaurant and they just give you these ginormous portions of food, I can already eyeball what corner of the food I'll be able to finish. I stop eating when I get the sensation of almost like my nose is going to run. That means I'm pushing it too far. I stop eating if I get like a tightness in my chest. And I historically will get a belch. So when I get my first belch, that is the warning that you have room for one more bite. And I, take full advantage of my one more bite. And when I try to take two, I usually end up putting that in a napkin. And so that's when I stop eating. But everybody is different, My thought process when I go to eat, specifically if I'm not starving, then that If I'm not starving, then I'm not rushing. So I can calm down and try to chew and try to think about what I'm doing and try to feel for fullness and all of that. But it has taken, you know, time to get to this place to really just remember to honor this pouch. You know, 5-10 years down the road, I still want the ability to be full off of, you know, 3/4 of a cup, half a cup, depending upon what it is. I still want to, you know, be able to be full off those kinds of things. So I have to monitor how much I'm stuffing myself or how fast I'm eating or whether or not I'm chewing good enough. And then why do you stop? I think I just answered that question. I stop because I'm trying to honor this gift, this arm wide, the way that I have this little tiny stomach now, just trying to honor it and have longevity with it. The rule said, do not eat past the first feeling of fullness. And I figure if I win 80% of the time, I should be in good shape for longevity. And then, did your doctor advise you to not drink with your meals? I think not drinking soda and not drinking with your meals was probably some of the first pieces of information I ever heard of when I started getting involved with my pre-op classes and things of that nature. And on my trusty sheet, always avoid drinking with meals since there is limited space for your food. And I have a little note here that says 30 minutes before and after. And so, yes, my doctors did advise that we should not drink with our meals. It is significant to somebody who, you know, you can't even sit down in a restaurant without getting, you know, the large glass of soda brought to the table, so that it's, you know, you're already drinking before the food even comes to the table. And that's what my life was pre-op. And so oftentimes in restaurants specifically now, you know, depending upon what I feel like going through at the moment, I'm saying to the server, no, I don't want anything. I don't want anything on the table that's liquid at the time of my meal. And then sometimes I don't feel like them looking at me like I'm weird. And so I'll just say, you know, bring some water. I'll take some ice water. And so it just sits there. But if I'm going long at the table and time has passed, then I'll be able to drink. But one of my things is that I've learned from my body, if I want my food, if I want my dinner or lunch or whatever it is I'm having, I can't drink. Sometimes an hour before, I have to be totally empty so that I can enjoy my food. And sometimes if the food, you know, depending on if it's a heavier protein, I can't, you know, 30-minute waiting after isn't going to work either. I need to wait a little bit longer. So I think the key is not only following that rule, but also listening to your body, because, like I said, sometimes waiting 30 minutes just isn't enough. And then, so then the fifth question here is, if so, do you follow that advice at this point in your journey? I absolutely do follow that advice. Where I would veer off to the left is if I'm having something soft, you know, if it's a yogurt or if I'm snacking on nuts or something like that. I have drank while throwing back nuts, and then I'm always like, you know, choking myself to death. But for like a yogurt, something soft that's just going to run right through me, I'm good after 15 minutes if I want something to drink. But I'm also 25.5 months post-op. But I'm still even careful with that, because if I need that yogurt to sustain me for a while, then I won't drink, because I need it to stay with me. And the drinking just pushes everything through. To me, it pushes everything through too fast or faster than I would like it. So it all depends on what I need in the moment. You just sort of learn your body. You understand the rules of engagement for your particular surgery, and then you learn your body. I think it's imperative that we align our journey with the rule about drinking liquid, as well as the whole protein first. Those are two big pieces to this journey outside of course, our vitamins and then fitness. But so it says, if so, do you follow the advice at this point in your journey? Why or why not? And I just sort of explained it. It's one of those things that makes sense. Like I said, if I need my food to hang with me a little bit longer, to sustain me, maybe I'm busy and I don't want to get hungry sooner rather than later, then I can't drink outside of the rule, sometimes 30 to an hour after. And it helps the protein stay with me a little bit longer. But those were the things that were given to me. Those are the things that I learned from hanging around the community. It was a big deal to think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to eat and drink. But I tell you, it is totally doable. You learn, that you don't want to bring pain to your body. You don't want your food washing through you so fast. And you certainly don't want, stretching out your pouch, your stomach, or whatever, or destroying your band, or whatever the case may be. So those are certainly things to take into consideration if you're headed into surgery or you are in post-op life. Put the drink down, put the liquid down, and give the body time to absorb that food. So that's where I stand on portion control this week, you guys. I don't have anything else to add at this point, so I will close shop for today, and you guys have yourself a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.